Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Russell Wilson makes final decision on Steelers. Kimberly A. Martin, Stephen A. Smith, a good mentor, not afraid to tell him he's got an ego despite speculation that Russell Wilson might be eyeing a move from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Las Vegas Raiders. That doesn't seem to be his plan. While Wilson spent this season as the Steelers' starting quarterback, his long-term status with the team is quite a bit uncertain. After signing just a one-year deal with Pittsburgh last offseason, Wilson is set to hit free agency next month, giving him the freedom to sign with any team. While he has repeatedly expressed his desire to return to the Steelers, recent developments have raised some doubts. Last week, the Las Vegas Raiders made it official by hiring former Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll to lead the team. Given Wilson and Carroll's decade-long history together in Seattle, reports quickly emerged linking the veteran quarterback to a potential reunion in Las Vegas. NFL insider Jeff Howe of The Athletic reported last week that Carroll and Wilson had mended fences and that Wilson could serve as a short-term option for the Raiders at quarterback. Country music star, ex-Pittsburgh Steelers favorite fuel engagement speculation. Few names in country music are bigger than Lainey Wilson these days, and try as she might early on to keep her private life private, folks are dialed in on her relationship with Devlin "Duck" Hodges. Duck, of course, is a former Pittsburgh Steelers fan favorite quarterback, and he and Wilson have been together long enough for her to hint, more than once, that she is ready for him to pop the question. Which brings us to this week and Wilson's Instagram post showing off her fit for Grammy Week. Ponying up for Grammy Week, she wrote on Instagram along with a carousel of pics. Duck chimed in, commenting, "Gosh dang, heart emoji, flame emoji, this is what you look like in white." Now, that seems innocent enough, but social media followers who have been dialed in on this relationship took that ball and ran with it. Several simply responded with posts suggesting they think his comment could be teasing the fact that a date is already planned and the pair are engaged. Others encouraged Duck to make the move if he hasn't already. "Put a ring on it and you will see more," one person responded. "Can I photograph your wedding?" another person asked. And there were plenty of other comments like those. You can see those, and Wilson's post, here. Wilson has hinted at her willingness to lock down Duck for the long term before, and the topic was brought up again by Jelly Roll's wife, Bunny XO, during a recent interview. Per Taste of Country, Bunny told Lainey she was manifesting a wedding for the two in 2025. "No pressure, brother," Wilson said, while looking into the camera. Also in an interview with Taste of Country Nights back in August, Wilson talked about marriage while discussing her song, Counting Chickens. Taste of Country pointed out the lyrics in that one included, "Far as I know, you ain't bought a diamond / you ain't sat my daddy down and asked if it's alright / I don't mean to jump the gun on perfect timing / but if you brought up Vegas I'd be on a plane tonight." The article posed the question of whether or not Wilson was putting Hodges on blast, but she said he loved the song because at the end of the song I say, 1 chicken, 2 chickens, 3 chickens, oh shoot, I think that's a duck, that's just for him. If Pittsburgh wants to trade for Cooper Kupp, they likely need help from Los Angeles. Los Angeles Rams Wr. Cooper Kupp announced on Monday night that the team will attempt to trade him this offseason. That announcement doesn't come as a huge surprise overall. It will be interesting, however, to see if the Rams can ultimately find a team willing to trade for Kupp with his contract as it currently stands. When it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's hard to imagine them trading for Kupp's contract as is. Kupp, who will turn 32 years old in June, is due a base salary of $12.5 million in 2025. Additionally, Kupp is due a $7.5 million roster bonus on March 15, according to Over the Cap. $5 million of that $7.5 million is fully guaranteed as well. With his contract as it sits currently, a team would take on $20 million in both cash and salary cap charges if they traded for him. It should also be noted that Kupp's current contract runs through 2026, with that year totaling out at $19.85 million. $5 million of that total is due in March of 2026 as a roster bonus. Quite honestly, I am not expecting the Rams to be able to trade Kupp unless they eat some of the 2025 money that he's currently due. In fact, I bet inquiring teams will attempt to get the Rams to eat at least $5 million, the fully guaranteed amount of the $7.5 million roster bonus he is due in March, as part of a trade that would take place before said bonus was due. If the Rams aren't able to trade Kupp by March 15th, they would then have to pay the wide receiver that $7.5 million roster bonus unless they decided to cut him. If released, he would obviously become a free agent. Should the Rams be unable to trade him by March 15th, and should they also decide not to cut him by that date, they would have higher odds of trading him pre-draft. That's because an acquiring team would only be on the hook for the $12.5 million base salary for the coming season at that point. Even so, it's hard to imagine the Rams getting more than a third-round pick in exchange for Kupp. Quite honestly, the Rams would do good to get a third-round pick for him when and if they are able to trade him at all. While Kupp still probably has a good year or two of play left in him, he has missed a total of 18 regular season games over the course of the last 3 seasons, and an average of 6 games per season. It should be expected that his days of playing every game in a single season are now behind him. In closing, if the Steelers were to attempt to trade for Kupp, I imagine they would only do so after March 15th. The only way I could see them trading for Kupp before March 15th would be if they could get the Rams to still eat that full roster bonus amount of $7.5 million. On top of that, it's hard to imagine the Steelers wanting to part with a draft pick higher than a 4th rounder to acquire Kupp, as there's a risk he might wind up being just a one-year rental. Should the Rams ultimately wind up having to cut Kupp outright, he would obviously be a lot more desirable to the Steelers as a street free agent for the right price. I can almost guarantee everyone reading this post that the Steelers won't trade for Kupp with his contract in its current form. To end this post, should the Rams ultimately wind up trading or cutting Kupp after March 15th, their dead money charge in 2025 for doing so would be $24.76 million. That would result in them clearing just $5.02 million in 2025 salary cap space by going those routes, as Kupp's current salary cap charge for 2025 is set to be $29.78 million. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Cooper Kupp? Leave your opinion in the comments.